Hi, everybody. Welcome to the next short attention span webinar. This is Bill Farquharson along with Kelly Malazzi. Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Bill.
All right. So this is a long-winded title here, Kelly, but I figure what the heck, we're not paying per word, so we might as well make them as long as we want. Top 10 most important characteristics of a great sales rep. Where this came from was I had a client who had a bunch of new sales reps, but two of them asked me in the same day, the same coaching, their own coaching calls. They said, Bill, what makes up a great sales rep? What are the characteristics that make up for a great sales rep? And that's where this came from. Now, Kelly, when I threw this at you, what was the first thing that popped into your head? So if I asked you, Kelly, what makes up a great sales rep, your answer is?
I think you got to really want to do it. You have to love what you do.
Yeah,
that would be my answer.
Yeah, and we came up with these, gang, together. I kind of threw an email out at Kelly. We came back and forth, and I want to run over these with you. These are in no particular order. There's nothing here that says this is absolutely number one, absolutely number two. When we're done with these, I might list my number one. This was the first one I wrote down. This was passion. I am a big fan of the passionate. You know, I don't know where this came from, but I love people who do their job for the love of the job. You know, one of my favorite baseball players, Dustin Pedroia. Why? The guy's got no business playing Major League Baseball, but he's got the passion to get there. I absolutely love that. I think you have to have great passion for what you do in order to be successful. Not just happy, but successful. And Kelly, I'm going to list off a few of these, and then I'll invite you to go back and give your read on this. The next one was drive. And Kelly, you asked me a good question. Ask it again.
Well, I said, how do you differentiate between these two? Because when you first look at them, you think, okay, those are kind of the same thing, but they're not. And so you can explain what you see as the difference.
Yeah, and what I said was, you know, passion is that internal, it's almost an internal drive. Passion is the desire to succeed. I remember when I first started out, I had this incredible, you know, I was very ambitious. I had a passion. I loved what I did. And it quickly dawned on me just that. I love this. I love this industry. I'm having so much fun doing this. And I was scared. Now, what got me to the success level that I wanted, by and large, was drive. Drive, to me, is and after this I want to get your read on this, Kelly, but drive to me is the getting up on the day that you don't want to go to the gym and going to the gym. The day you get up and you say, ugh, I don't want to make sales calls today, then you make sales calls. And you do it again tomorrow. It's that both of these can't be taught, and I think both of these are the non sequitur that you can't really measure, but boy, they're found in the great salespeople. So Kelly, what's your read on those two?
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, if you did rank them, I think they have to be really, really high up there. And actually, I heard a great quote by Jack LaLanne, who was a very popular fitness expert back in like the 1950s. And he said, I don't love working out. I love having worked out. Yeah. So it's kind of that feeling of like, I did my job. I did what I was supposed to do today. I made the calls. I went on the appointments. I did the research. Knowing what it takes to get there and doing it and executing on it is the drive. And knowing what the results are too, right? Knowing that it's winning. It's about, you know, succeeding and landing that big new client. So yeah, they're different, but they seem kind of, you know, like they're in that same ballpark.
But see, here's another one. Now you throw diligence in there. Mm-hmm. You might say, well, wait a minute, what's the difference between diligence and drive? Diligence to me is making the calls to the same customer again and again and again. I'm going to be diligent with my customers. Kelly and I call it being pleasantly persistent. You know, someone who's just going to make one call in a passionate way and then move on is not going to be successful. Someone who just sets up camp and says, I'm going to get this account. I'm going to own this account. That's someone who's going to find success. Now, next up is knowledge. And knowledge, to me, comes in two parts. One is product knowledge. How well do I know my industry? How well do I know print, packaging, publishing, labels, signage, whatever it is you're into? That's key. And when I look at all the successful salespeople, the ones that have great product knowledge are successful. And I will tell you, by the way, that the ones who have number 3, diligence, they're successful 100% of the time. Okay, I'll throw that one in there as well as to back up. The other part of knowledge is customer knowledge. Customer knowledge, Kelly, comes where? Where do you get customer knowledge?
Well, you research your companies. You get to know who they are by looking at their website, by reading press releases about them, by following them in the news, by talking to people that work there, by talking to their competitors, by looking at the associations they belong to, the philanthropy they participate in. It's really doing your homework and saying, I understand something about this customer.
Next up is listening skills. Hugely important, and this is so old school. I have a pet peeve about being interrupted. It drives me crazy. Interrupting means what I'm going to say is more important than what you're going to say. When waiters and waitresses come over to the table and just start talking instead of just sitting there and waiting for their moment to be recognized, it bugs me. And invariably, I will say something. I am that customer, Kelly. I'm that guy. There are in there 5% tips. But listening skills are tremendous. You don't just listen with your ears. When you're sitting in front of someone, you listen with your entire body. When you're on the phone with someone, you need to make them understand, I am completely 100% engaged in this conversation. I'm not checking my Facebook. I'm not looking at my emails. And that's even harder, just to make certain this person knows exactly what you are. Everything that you're saying is of primary importance to me. This one, anticipation was another one of mine that I came up with. Kelly, I think that a good sales rep anticipates the needs of the customers. Something simple, like, this job is supposed to ship on Thursday. So I'm going to call the customer on Wednesday and just say, give them a status update, unannounced. And then just say, but I want to let you know, the job arrived. I just heard from UPS Red, boom, job got there on time. Anticipating the needs. Calling a customer up a month before a job is going to be placed and saying, what can we do to make this better? Anticipation. And again, that's one of those non-sequitur things you can't measure in an interview, but all the great ones have that. So, Kelly, this one was one of yours, problem solver, and there was a lot to that, wasn't there?
Well, there is. As I was articulating that, I was thinking, so there's your kind of basic daily problem solver, like, hey, this job isn't going to ship on time, but let's figure out, what are the alternatives? How can I make the situation better? I'm going to solve this problem. I'm going to get it on the next flight out. I'm going to find somebody locally who can print it for you so that you don't miss your trade show. There's that kind of problem solver. Then there's kind of the big picture, what we train people to do, which is to think more like a marketing consultant as we're approaching new customers and solving their problems, because when we understand what our customers' problems are, we can present the solutions that will solve those problems and put us in the mind of them being a resource to them, not just an order taker. So there's kind of the two sides to the problem solver one, for sure.
Okay, so run through the rest of yours then, because the rest of these are yours. So creative.
Yeah, creative is a great differentiator, because basically it helps you, as you're communicating with customers and prospects, to think differently, to say, okay, rather than just take this order and print you these 10,000 postcards, I want to learn a little bit of something about it, so I might be able to add some of my own ideas, my own experience, the other successes that I've had with other customers, and help you look at things a little bit differently. And again, it could just be asking better questions, understanding the process behind the order a little bit better. So it's just thinking differently, thinking other than just the same thing we do every day. Now, a thick skin, I think, is a really important one because of how much rejection we get on a very regular basis. It is, I've picked up the phone, I've been making calls for an hour, I've heard nothing but voicemail, or, oh, I don't need you, I don't want you, I don't, I love my current vendor. You've got to be thick-skinned enough and persistent enough to be able to look beyond that, not take it personally, and just keep plugging away, because that's what we do. It's our job, and we've got to keep doing it day in and day out. And the final one I think that's really important is about integrity. It has everything to do with the way we carry ourselves, the way we communicate, our relationship to our competition, our honesty, everything like that. My policy is I never say my customers or my competition's name out loud, and I would never, ever, ever say anything bad about them. And I will not lie to a customer no matter what. If we made a mistake, I say we made a mistake. If I've got to deliver bad news, I deliver it with a solution behind it. I'm always thinking about holding my head up high and being proud of the person that I am and the job that I do, and thinking that I'm a very honest person that's trustworthy and worthy of their business.
All right, now Kelly, let me ask you, looking at this list of 10, what's your number one?
It's got to be passion.
Okay,
because it will inform everything else. I really think.
Fascinating. All right. So I say drive because I figure if you can, people can will themselves to success. And those two are so closely tied together that I think I'm going to call us when it's tied. There's no win or lose here.
Well, we'll arm wrestle next time we see each other.
No, we will not. You're a former roller derby queen. I'm not a bar.
There you go.
All right. Well, listen, thanks, gang. Appreciate it. Kelly, thank you. We'll talk to you all in the next short attention span webinar.
Thanks, Bill.